Introduction: Colorado's Hidden Struggle. What does it mean to belong when the streets are your only refuge? In Grand Junction and Montrose, Colorado, majestic mesas rise against endless skies. Yet beneath this beauty lies a quieter story, the struggle of thousands without homes. This travel documentary takes you beyond the postcard landscapes, peeling back the layers of these vibrant communities to uncover the stark realities of homelessness. Together, we'll explore its causes, its human toll, and the resilience of those working towards solutions. Through this lens of empathy and insight, we invite you to see these towns not just for their natural grandeur, but for the lives lived in their shadows. On Colorado's western slope, Grand Junction and Montrose are known for their rugged beauty. Red rock canyons rising against the horizon, serene valleys that draw visitors throughout the year. Yet beneath this picturesque backdrop, a growing crisis is reshaping these communities: homelessness. A 2023 report from the Common Sense Institute revealed that homelessness in Mesa County, home to Grand Junction, surged 43% between 2019 and 2021, affecting more than 2,300 people. Montrose, though smaller, reflects the same pattern, with shelters reporting a 20% increase in demand from 2020 to 2023. This travel documentary takes you beyond the scenery to uncover the economic pressures, social dynamics, and structural gaps driving this crisis, while also highlighting the innovative responses emerging from these resilient towns. Through data, community insight, and human stories, we'll explore a challenge too often hidden behind the region's natural allure. Our goal is to inform, inspire, and foster a deeper understanding of a challenge that reaches every corner of these communities, from bustling downtown businesses to quiet rural outreach programs. By exploring the balance of policy, compassion, and local action, we hope to show how Grand Junction and Montrose confront this crisis while striving to remain welcoming, vibrant places. If this exploration of critical social issues resonates with you, please give this video a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Travel Documentary. Your support helps us uncover untold stories and spark meaningful conversations. Join our community of curious minds, and let's take this journey together. Homelessness in Grand Junction and Montrose is not just a number. It is a deeply rooted issue that reflects broader challenges across society. According to the 2022 Grand Junction Unhoused Needs Assessment, 61% of the city's unhoused population is chronically homeless, meaning they've gone more than a year without stable housing or cycled repeatedly in and out of homelessness. In Montrose, the picture is similar. The County Human Services Department reported a 15% increase in shelter requests in 2023, with many people turned away simply because capacity could not keep up. At the heart of this crisis is the soaring cost of housing. Since 2019, rents in Grand Junction have surged by 50–60%, with one-bedroom apartments now averaging $1,200 a month. Montrose is close behind, with similar units averaging around $1,000. For many working families and individuals living paycheck to paycheck, those prices push stability out of reach and make homelessness a growing reality. Meanwhile, median household incomes lag far behind the state average: $58,000 in Grand Junction and $55,000 in Montrose, compared to Colorado's $81,000. Shelter capacity is woefully inadequate. Grand Junction has just 200 beds for more than 750 unhoused residents, while Montrose offers fewer than 50 beds for an estimated 300 people in need. These numbers paint a stark picture. Economic pressures, limited resources, and a severe shortage of affordable housing are pushing more residents to the margins, creating a cycle of instability that's incredibly difficult to break. Add in systemic barriers like limited access to healthcare, transportation, and job opportunities, and the crisis deepens into a community-wide challenge that affects not just those without homes, but entire neighborhoods and local economies. So we leave you with this question. What do you think is the biggest barrier to solving homelessness in smaller cities like Grand Junction and Montrose? At the heart of the homelessness crisis in Grand Junction and Montrose lies economic instability, compounded by deep social challenges that intensify its grip. Grand Junction, the regional hub for healthcare, education, and retail, relies heavily on low-wage service jobs. 40% of workers earn less than $15 an hour, according to 2024 labor data. Montrose, with its agriculture and tourism-based economy, faces similar precarity, where seasonal employment leaves many vulnerable once the work dries up. The fallout is clear. The 2024 Mesa County Community Health Needs Assessment found that 30% of people experiencing homelessness cited job loss as the trigger, while 25% pointed to medical debt, averaging $2,500 per household in Mesa County and $2,000 in Montrose County. But economics tell only part of the story. Social factors carve equally deep wounds. In Grand Junction, 40% of unhoused residents report untreated mental health conditions, while 15% battle substance abuse. Domestic violence remains a leading driver in Montrose, where Haven House has seen a 15% rise in women seeking refuge since 2021, serving 120 women and children in 2023 alone. Veterans, too, are disproportionately affected. 10% of Mesa County's homeless population once wore the uniform, compared to just 7% of the general population, many struggling with PTSD and limited access to VA services. And perhaps most troubling, youth homelessness is rising. In 2023, Mesa County identified 200 unaccompanied minors, many fleeing unsafe or unstable homes. Taken together, low wages, crushing debt, untreated mental illness, addiction, domestic violence, veteran struggles, and displaced youth, these forces form a vicious cycle. One that traps individuals and families alike, demanding not just charity, but a coordinated, multifaceted response from policymakers, service providers, and the communities themselves. Homelessness reverberates across the social, economic, and cultural fabric of Grand Junction and Montrose, reshaping public spaces and community life. In Grand Junction, the 2023 closure of Whitman Park, a longtime gathering spot for the unhoused, sparked controversy. Officials cited overdoses and violence, fencing off the park and displacing hundreds. Yet for nonprofits, the closure disrupted vital outreach, scattering people across the city and making support harder to deliver. Downtown businesses feel the ripple effects. A 2024 Chamber of Commerce survey revealed a 10% decline in foot traffic near encampments, with 60% of shop owners citing customer concerns about safety. In Montrose, public spaces like Centennial Plaza and the library have become de facto day shelters, straining municipal budgets and stirring debates about whose voices shape community spaces. Environmental worries surface too. Along the Gunnison River, cleanups in 2024 removed more than 500 pounds of debris left behind by encampment. Yet, amid the tension, compassion shines through. Homeward Bound's Grand Junction Resource Center provided 16,000 meals, 8,000 showers, and 4,000 laundry services in 2024, a daily lifeline for hundreds. In Montrose, Church-led community meals programs served 10,000 hot meals, while the Rotary Club distributed 1,000 hygiene kits. These efforts reflect a community unwilling to turn its back, even as resources stretch thin. Still, the balancing act remains fragile. How do you preserve safety, protect public spaces, and uphold compassion all at once? For Grand Junction and Montrose, the answer lies not in choosing one over the other, but in forging sustainable solutions that honor both community identity and human dignity. Grand Junction and Montrose are fighting back against homelessness with a mix of determination, innovation, and sheer community will. In Grand Junction, the Resource Center on Ute Avenue opened its doors in January 2024, backed by $900,000 in city funding. Inside, you'll find more than showers and job postings. It's a hub where case managers help secure housing, legal advocates tackle eviction cases, and mental health counselors guide people toward stability. In just 6 months, 1,200 individuals walked through its doors, 150 found work, and 200 connected with mental health care. Montrose takes a more family-focused approach through Haven House, where parents and children share transitional apartments, attend parenting classes, and learn financial literacy. Last year, 70% of families who entered left with permanent housing, and 80% reported greater financial stability, a reminder that prevention and stability go hand in hand. Yet progress comes with setbacks. In Grand Junction, drug-related arrests at the Resource Center sparked debate about safety and oversight, while Montrose, still facing gaps in housing, distributed tents, sleeping bags, and hygiene kits as stopgaps in 2024. Both cities are bolstering staff, adding housing specialists and coordinators to scale their efforts. Grassroots energy fuels these strategies. In Grand Junction, more than 100 volunteers fan out each year for the point-in-time count, collecting vital data to steer policy. In Montrose, the newly formed Homeless Solutions Task Force gathers nonprofits, businesses, and officials at the same table. Together, they reflect a region seeking to blend immediate compassion with sustainable solutions. But the challenge remains. How do you meet today's urgent needs, meals, shelter, dignity, while building tomorrow's permanent solutions of housing, mental health care, and stability? That balance, fragile and essential, is where these communities' future will be defined. Despite progress, Grand Junction and Montrose continue to face obstacles that run deeper than numbers. Shelter capacity remains a glaring gap. In Grand Junction, Homeward Bound fills 270 beds every night, yet dozens more are turned away, waitlists averaging 50 people long. Montrose, without a central shelter, relies on Haven House for just 20 families and seasonal church programs that provide warmth only in the coldest months. Housing scarcity amplifies the strain. Vacancy rates remain critically low, 1.9% in Grand Junction and 2.1% in Montrose, while rents climb beyond reach. A one-bedroom averages $1,200 in Grand Junction, requiring an income of $48,000 a year, nearly double what many service workers earn. Even steady employment no longer guarantees a home. Zoning restrictions further complicate solutions. Grand Junction's 2024 decision to limit temporary shelters in residential areas drew sharp criticism from advocates who argue it prioritizes neighborhood aesthetics over human need. Yet surveys show 60% of residents supported the move, reflecting the tensions between compassion and fear. That fear is often fueled by perception. A 2023 Colorado Public Radio report found that 25% of residents see homeless individuals as a safety threat, even though only 5% of related incidents involve violent crime. Funding is another barrier. With federal and state grants declining 10% in 2024, nonprofits are increasingly reliant on local donations. $1.2 million raised in Mesa County and $800,000 in Montrose last year, amounts that barely meet demand. Adding to the crisis is the opioid epidemic. Mesa County reported a 20% rise in overdose deaths between 2022 and 2024, many involving unhoused individuals already stretched by poverty and despair. Together, these pressures, limited shelter space, soaring rents, zoning barriers, public stigma, shrinking budgets, and health crises create a storm that no single program can weather. They underscore the need for systemic change, not just stopgap measures, to address both the immediate suffering and the deeper structures perpetuating homelessness. Solving homelessness requires more than goodwill. It demands a careful blend of compassion and policy, guided by data, community voices, and the resolve to tackle root causes. Advocates like Eric Niederkruger, quoted in a 2025 KJCT report, emphasize that affordable housing is the cornerstone of any real solution. The numbers make the case clear. Grand Junction's homeownership vacancy rate sits at just 0.9% and Montrose at 1.1%, leaving few paths to stability. Programs that bridge this gap are showing results. In 2023, Grand Junction's rapid rehousing program helped 30 families transition into permanent homes, with 80% still stably housed after a year. Montrose's La Mariposa initiative, aimed at women recovering from addiction, cut recidivism by 25% in 2024 while providing job training for 30 participants. Community involvement adds strength. Volunteers in Grand Junction contributed 5,000 hours to the Resource Center in 2024, doing everything from serving meals to running resume workshops. Montrose's annual Homeless Connect event brought 200 people together for legal aid, health checks, and job resources, 50 of whom left with solid employment leads. Yet policy gaps persist. Wages remain stagnant. Grand Junction's minimum wage is $14.42, far below the $18 living wage threshold. Healthcare remains out of reach for many, with 15% of Mesa County residents and 12% of Montrose County residents uninsured. Mental health support is critically underfunded, with only 1 in 10 homeless individuals receiving consistent care. Preventive measures are emerging, though. Colorado's statewide rental assistance program prevented 5,000 evictions in 2023, and a proposed $1 million expansion could bring similar relief to Western Slope communities. What emerges is a blueprint for real change, align compassionate outreach with policy muscle to close the gaps in housing, wages, healthcare, and prevention. When empathy is backed by systemic reform, lives don't just survive, they stabilize and flourish. But here's the question for all of us. Should local governments focus more on housing subsidies to keep people sheltered, or on job creation to help them stand on their own? The future of homelessness in Grand Junction and Montrose will be written not by chance, but by choice, through collaboration, innovation, and the courage to confront systemic barriers. Grand Junction's 10-year plan, launched in 2023, sets ambitious targets: reduce chronic homelessness by 50% by 2030, add 100 shelter beds by 2026, and develop 1,000 affordable housing units by the end of the decade. Montrose, while smaller, is stepping boldly into new ideas, exploring a tiny home village modeled after Denver's beloved community. With a pilot set for 2026, this $500,000 project could give 20 residents a safe and stable place to call their own. Partnerships are key. The Resource Center in Grand Junction, blending city funds with private donations, raised $1.5 million in 2024, a model that could be replicated to sustain shelters, expand job training, and build long-term infrastructure. But policy is only part of the answer. Public attitudes must shift, too. A 2024 survey found that 60% of residents blamed homelessness on personal choices, while just 20% linked it to economic factors, underscoring the need for education and empathy. There are signs of progress. Community forums like Grand Junction's 2024 Homelessness Summit drew 300 participants and generated 50 policy recommendations, ranging from zoning reform to tax incentives for affordable housing. Mesa County will invest $2 million in 2025 to expand outpatient mental health services with the goal of reaching 500 more clients. Job training programs like Work Ready already trained 100 homeless individuals in 2024, with 70% finding employment in construction and hospitality. Preventive tools are emerging too. Rental assistance and mediation programs could help curb the 1,200 evictions filed in Mesa County last year. Meanwhile, Montrose's Housing Trust Fund, seeded with $300,000, is set to subsidize 50 low-income units by 2027. What unites these efforts is a shared vision, a future where homelessness is rare, brief, and non-recurring. In this travel documentary, Grand Junction and Montrose stand as examples of resilience, communities proving that even small cities can lead with big solutions. Their story is not just about struggle, it's about hope, and about the belief that when policy meets compassion, lives can change. Homelessness in Grand Junction and Montrose reminds us that beneath even the most breathtaking landscapes, unseen struggles shape daily life. From the Resource Center's tireless outreach to Haven House's safe haven for families, these communities are proving that compassion can be more than sentiment, it can be action. By tackling economic barriers, expanding services, and nurturing empathy, they are sketching the outlines of a future where dignity and shelter are not privileges, but rights. Thank you for traveling with us on this reflective journey. If this story resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments and help keep the conversation alive. Until next time on the Travel Documentary Channel, stay thoughtful, stay engaged, and remember, the world's beauty is not just in its landscapes, but in the people we choose to see.